Since we've been gone, the new Mustang has been introduced. Now, this wasn't just big news amongst car publications, this was big news nationally. Apparently, America is still in love after 50 years with the Mustang. This week at Edmunds Live, I'm joined by Aaron Riches, Ed Helwig, Jay Kavanaugh, and Jessica Caldwell. Now, Jay, you saw the new Mustang. What are the highlights?
Well, it's completely new. And the big news is it has an independent suspension instead of a live axle, and that ought to provide a better ride quality, for one. It's also got an all-new interior and more technology connectivity features than it's had before, and a fuel-efficient four-cylinder. It has a turbocharged four-cylinder for the first time in decades.
But it still has a V8.
Still has a V8, also a V6 is the base engine. Right in the middle, though, is that turbo four-cylinder, which will be interesting to see how it plays out.
Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of its output compared to the other engines and maybe the benefits of it besides just the obvious of fuel economy.
Right. It's the final horsepower rating hasn't been released yet. They're saying above 305 horsepower. The V6 has 300 horsepower, so it'll certainly be more than 5 horsepower difference between the two, and it'll be a whole lot more torque and over a broader range of revs. So it'll be more flexible power delivery, but also the big deal, they're saying significantly better fuel economy than the V6. So you'll pay more for the four-cylinder, they're calling it the EcoBoost 2.3, but in the long run, it'll pay for itself with fuel savings and better performance.
And that really is important because as much as the Mustang has been a performance car, it has also just been a stylish sport coupe.
They sell more of the non-V8s than they sell of the V8s, so the bread and butter is more of the affordable versions of the car, not the really expensive V8 versions.
And they're also, aren't they offering all the options and everything on even the base models, so you can essentially get the standard engine with anything else you could get? Is that
there's definitely more overlap in terms of option packages. I don't know if everything's available in every configuration, but certainly more so now than in previous years. I mean, you can even get performance pack on the four-cylinder for better brakes and tires and upgraded suspension, that kind of thing. So they're treating it as a serious version of the car, but it can also be something that's more accessible to your everyday consumer too.
Yeah, I think that new interior is going to be a really big deal because I always liked driving the current version with whatever flaws that it has, but the interior always got me down because it's so much hard plastic, couldn't read the gauges, was always banging my arm on the center console, and especially if you get one with a bunch of stuff on it, it's kind of expensive and the interior still isn't good.
And that's what sells people, right? At the end of the day, I mean, they get into the car and that's where they fall in love and that's where they close the deal. So interior's got to be important. Yeah. And also I think we just touched about it, the whole EcoBoost, better fuel economy. I mean, okay, long time ago, Mustang fuel economy, who really cares, right? But today, now everybody from, a small car all the way to an F-150, they want better fuel economy, so that's going to be important. And it shows that times are changing. People are demanding better fuel economy in whatever it is that they're driving.
And also the CAFE standards are more stringent now than ever before, so that helps play into their CAFE strategy as well.
Yeah.
Now, Jessica, the Mustang has always been a big seller, unlike a lot of performance cars. What do you see this new one doing, both in, compared to this segment and for Ford in general?
Right. I mean, the thing about Mustang is it's an iconic name. Okay, everyone knows the Mustang, and a new one will bring car shoppers to the dealership because they want to check it out. Maybe they may go home with the Focus or something else. We don't know, but we know that it definitely brings the folks. But if you actually look at the sales, they tend to be very high in the beginning and they trail off over time. And if you look at 2013, the Mustang is barely in the top 10 in terms of sales of Ford products. So they're selling more E-Series vans than they are Mustang right now. That's going to change when the new one comes out, of course, but it's really got to make a splash when it comes out.
All right, so moving on, this is our last episode of 2013, so we thought that we would ask our readers on Facebook what they thought was the most significant car of 2013. And for the answers, let's go to Claire with our social media minute. Claire, what do you have for us?
So Corvette got most of the votes, but the CLA was a very close second. The people that voted for the CLA really felt like it's changed the game for Mercedes. Kyrie Williams posted, "The CLA has shown that customers aren't afraid of a cheap Mercedes-Benz. It still embodies traditional Mercedes-Benz brand values, and I very much doubt that it will offend buyers of S-Classes and SLS Roadsters or damage the brand's prestige." What do you guys think?
Well, the interesting thing about the Corvette is certainly it was the biggest car story of the year, but really, on the grand scheme of things, not that many people are buying a Corvette. I think there might have been other significant cars of the year. Ed, what do you think was the most significant for you?
also from Chevrolet, I think the Silverado was really the big story. And I think it was a story because everyone was so unimpressed with it, which is, to me, kind of ridiculous because everyone wanted some like show truck to come out, and really what matters is all the things they actually focused on, which is making a comfortable truck. It's got all the same capability, you know, it's quiet inside, it's got new technology, you know, all the MyLink and all that stuff. So they did a really good job, yet they keep getting patted on the fact it doesn't look different enough, and I think it's really kind of, I don't know, I don't think they really deserved it, and yet that's all anyone seems to talk about is how kind of dull it looks.
Jay, what was your most significant vehicle of 2013?
Similar to what Ed said, I'm going to throw you a curveball, and you know, like you said, while the Corvette is really flashy, the Ram diesel is pretty significant. It's the first time we've seen a diesel engine in a half-ton pickup in I don't know how long. And you look at the sales of full-size pickups compared to sports cars or sports sedans, and you know, they're still the #1 selling vehicle in the U.S. So kind of a big deal when someone commits to doing a diesel engine. And it's going to be interesting to see how other automakers follow suit, if they do follow suit, if they decide that having a diesel is something that's, you know, popular and profitable. So we'll see.
Jessica?
Although this car came out in 2012, I think it really hit fever pitch this year. It was the Tesla Model S. I mean, everybody's talking about that car. It doesn't regard, you know, from your grandma to your little sister, everyone wants to talk about it. It certainly has captured the most people's attention. I think, you know, long-term viability for the car still remains to be unseen. I think it's going to be important to see what they have with the Model X and the Model E. But in terms of a hot car, no pun intended, I think the Model S was probably it for 2013.
And the fact that it caught on fire a couple of times.
A few times.
But really, a lot of cars catch on fire.
Yeah, not probably. Yeah. Well, ours hasn't. That's a win for us.
I think there's also undue scrutiny on the fires, just because they're a new automaker and it's a different kind of vehicle than we're used to seeing. So whenever there's any sort of hiccup involving these cars, you know, people just flock to them. And again, they're already high visibility to begin with, and then when there's an incident, it just goes to fever pitch. And I think it's a little bit ridiculous and overblown. But you know, NHTSA will conduct their investigation on the fires and let them do their jobs, let the pros do what they do best, and then we'll decide if there's an actual problem or not.
Right.
Aaron, what was your most significant?
I picked the Toyota Corolla, and I think for me it's not maybe the best car still in the compact car class, but it's the best Corolla in 10 years. It finally offers the miniature Camry experience that I think people want from that car.
Interesting, because my pick was what you would come to if you did drive everything in that class, which is the new Mazda 3. It's just as impressive as the original one was when it came out. You know, it's just as good to drive as it used to be, but now it's bigger, it's more comfortable, it's more refined, it's nicer inside. That was what really impressed me in 2013.
So yeah, we also polled our Facebook audience about what they're most looking forward to, and the overwhelming response was the Ford Mustang. So for more polls and great content, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Happy holidays. Thanks, guys.
Well, that's it for Edmunds Live for this week and this year. See you in 2014. Thanks, guys.